Hello there, and welcome back to the Hot Lap Classic Remastered. Today, we're bringing some American muscle to the admittedly very ill-fitting Motorsportsland track. This is the 1972 Plymouth Cuda 340. So, some interesting notes to make. The Plus mod actually does make a number of changes to this vehicle. It corrects the year from a 1970 Cuda, which this very obviously is not, to a 1972 Cuda. It also replaces the standard AAR engine with what the engine would have been in 1972, which is a 340, hence the name, which has 50 less horsepower, and it also replaces the gearbox on this vehicle, which was apparently previously very broken and was actually a Ford gearbox. Now it's using a proper Plymouth gearbox. So in terms of upgrades, I think this is down about 50 horsepower on what it would be normally. However, that might actually benefit it in this case, because the Motorsportsland track is a very twisty track, and the Cuda is not really built for such things. My god, it leans through the corners. So this car is going to have 6 laps to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Honda Civic SAR2, which set a time of a 30.779. The Cuda unlikely to beat that. In all honesty, the Cuda should, and while this probably doesn't make any sense in any other form of life, it does here. The Cuda's sort of where it should be aiming is the Volkswagen Polo 1.416 valve, which is the slowest car we've had around here, with a 30.277. So because this is using its stock gearbox, we are on a 4-speed, so that's nice. And I do have to say, for a muscle car, this doesn't feel quick. In fact, it feels very not quick. So yeah, maybe it needed that extra couple of horsepower from that AAR engine. So the reason this change was made is because obviously the car in-game is not a 1970s Cuda, hence the rear lights, and I think the front's a little bit different as well. I'm sure a muscle car enthusiast will get into the comments. So this car is actually, it's a little bit, I think there was a bit of an issue when creating this car, is they said this was a 70s Cuda when it isn't. But the Challenger in this game is posted as a 1972 Challenger when it's very obviously not a 1972 Challenger, and it's in fact a 1970s Challenger RT, which has also been corrected by this mod. That's actually quite close to the Polo's time. So that has actually been corrected by this mod as well, in case you're wondering. So when the Challenger, so the Cuda suffers so the Challenger can prosper, basically, because the Challenger, unlike in the standard game where it has like 280 horsepower and it also costs like 11,000, thanks to the mod it now costs like 30,000, and it has a 440 in it, I believe, from the Charger in Gran Turismo 2. So like I say, the Cuda suffers so the Challenger can prosper, but then again, will the Challenger prosper? Because I think the Cuda, with its lesser power, is actually behaving quite nicely around here. I think the other good thing with this as well is, while the gearbox is a 4-speed, which admittedly isn't great for keeping you in the power band, it is pretty good at keeping the rear end under control, so that's particularly good. Right, let's see on this final lap, can we go any quicker? That was not a good line into that corner to get this corner cut. Oh, the tail's coming out now. Come on, Cuda, I was just praising you for how well behaved you are, and now you're going to be unruly. So fortunately, Volkswagen Polo fans, your car's safe. For fans of American muscle, you might want to look away, because a Volkswagen Polo has gone quicker than a Plymouth Cuda, although admittedly it is a 72 Cuda, which no one really cares much about the 72 Cuda. So yeah. Anyways, a 32.403 will put it into 4th place, because it's the 4th car we've ran. It does put it behind the Volkswagen Polo 1.416 valve. Not by much though. It's actually, this Cuda's very much impressed me. I would have swore this was on for like 33s. I thought this would be like key car territory, to be honest. But no, the Cuda it's performed quite well, and I'm happy about that, because this Cuda comes in a fantastic colour. Look at this sort of pinkish amethyst colour. See, this Hotline Classic Remastered's been good. We've only done 4 episodes, and so far we've had 3 fantastic colour schemes on these cars. We'll ignore the Polo, but still. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the Cuda, that did better than I expected it to. As I suspected, that I think it could maybe challenge the Polo, although, you know, the problem with this series is, yes, I could probably get another 2/10 out of this vehicle, but also I could get another 2/10 out the Polo. So, yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22. Admitted, I actually thought this was quite slow feeling, to be perfectly honest, but according to that, the speed wasn't actually that far off the speed Civic was getting, so that's interesting. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time I'm going to be taking a look at something completely different. Join us for that. Until then, farewell.